Okay, so let me walk through this patch real fast. So right now I just turned off the output of 3 and 4, so we're only listening to 1 and 2, which are just being summed together and then going to the output. Oscillator 1 is it's a sawtooth wave. It looks like a sine, but I'm doing self-feedback to turn it into a saw. And then oscillator 2 is also a sawtooth wave, but the phase is inverted. And so when I sum them, oh yeah, sorry, the phase is this is another saw, and the phase is inverted, and then it's also offset by 90 degrees. And so when summed together, it's going to make a square wave because I'm summing a saw up with a saw down. And also, by the way, if the phase of oscillator 2 were 0, I think it would be a perfect square wave. Whoops. Oh wait, no, that's a perfect cancellation. If it were 180, it would be a perfect square wave. But I'm gonna have it at, I guess, yeah, 90. So when I, modulate it um, with some bipolar source, it's gonna create pulse width modulation. Um, yeah, and so now in the patch panel, and this is kind of what you were doing with like we were calling it like double wave shaping or whatever. Um, with operator 3, I can turn that on. I have a stopped, so 0 hertz sawtooth wave. And so this thing is not going to do anything and it's patched into the phase of oscillator 2. And so this thing isn't going to do anything on its own. But if I modulate the phase of this one, then it's going to make this one move in a way that's dependent on the wave shape of this oscillator. So it's kind of tricky to understand or whatever, but let's just go into the example. So I'll turn this on. So operator 4 is a triangle wave. And it's moving this stopped waveform, and that the output or the amplitude of this or whatever is moving the phase position of this flipped sawtooth wave, and by moving the phase position we're creating pulse width modulation. So the part that I wanted to point out is that the pulse width modulation is going to move in the shape of this stopped operator. I kind of keep interchanging the words operator and oscillator. I'll just call them oscillators, I guess. This stopped oscillator is going to be moving the pulse width by its shape or whatever. So yeah. So let me give this some intensity. So you can see that when it gets to a certain position, it actually snaps into a different phase, and that's of course the sawtooth wave snapping into getting to the position. It's like, oh, god damn it, it's so hard to explain. So it's modulating, it's doing pulse width modulation in a direction, and then it's snapping, and it should continue to go in that direction. Yeah. It's actually looking bipolar because the phase of this thing might be moving this thing back and forth before like getting to an edge. It's really hard to explain, but like it's easy to conceptualize or whatever. I don't know. Let me show you with a sine wave. So now we're moving this pulse width with a sine wave essentially. But we're doing it at a rate that's dependent on this triangle wave. So like the triangle wave might be making us move to like a certain phase and then move back, which is why we're getting these bouncing. So let me think about how to remedy that. We need to go less far and less so by taking down the time, we're moving the phase. Oh my god, dude, I'm so fucking tired to do this shit. But yeah, okay, so if I am moving it slower, what does that do? No, I'm still getting the same. Okay, so I'm still getting the same bouncing effect no matter the rate that I do it. So it's the distance that I have to do it. I'm going. Well, actually, this is not a bad distance because it just means I'm getting to one edge of the sine wave and then going backwards, going to the other edge, and then going backwards, which is causing the bounce in pulse width modulation. So if I didn't want that, I guess I could go less distance. So that would be this parameter. Which ends up looking more like a sine wave because we're going like up and then we're going back and then going up. Yeah, so we're not going past the crest to get the bounce. Hopefully that makes sense. And then so if we change this wave shape to a saw, we should well, let's do triangle first. Actually, we should get a little bounce. We'll be able to see like how far we're going in distance. No, it looks like I'm going like perfectly. What would that be, like 90 degrees from center in each direction? So 180 degrees, but like from like the middle. Yeah, if we gave it a little bit more, we would be getting a little bit of a bounce. Yep. You can see that. So that's because we're getting to the edge of the triangle wave going like that, and then we're going the other direction with this triangle wave, modulating the other triangle wave, and then yeah. So let's change this to a saw, and then yeah, we'll get like a little snap at the end. We'll get almost like yeah, at each end we'll be getting a snap. One snap, two snap, I guess. Very cool. Let's change the shape to a, I don't know, let's see well, square is not going to sound that interesting. Maybe one position and then the other. Yeah, that's not that interesting. Where it does get really interesting, and this is what Citrus, this is a really good example of what Citrus is doing, is if we do a, let's do a sine plus wave shaper, and then I'm going to send this sine through some sort of mangler. How about this one with a, yeah, something like, let's try this. So this is going to give it a really weird shape. And then this shape is modulating the pulse width modulation. Like, so this shape is getting moved back and forth by this low frequency oscillator. And then this stopped wave shape that's getting moved back and forth is modulating the pulse width. So let's see what this ends up looking like. So kind of random. We can get, of course, more distance with this stopped oscillator by increasing the output. Let's see some other wave shapes. We can actually change this live too. Yeah, and then we can get like a really weird shape. So this is like straight up noise. So it looks like it's really fast in the in its modulations. And if we wanted to slow that down, let's see, I guess we would just have to, be moving this thing more slowly. So let's try to move it more slowly. So we're at like 1 hertz and it's still, or less 0.01 hertz and it still looks like a manic, crazy thing. Let's give it more distance. See what that sounds like with a low. It almost sounds like a downsampled thing or something like that. Like it's like a low fidelity. Yeah, so there's so many interesting timbres to be had with this thing and with Citrus and just fucking FM synthesis in general. This shit's rad. All right, that's all I wanted to show you.